Hey guys, welcome to ANX Gamecast, level 134. I'm Unbiased Ann, and I'm here with Genesis and Ray. How's it going, guys? You okay?
Got some dust on that, man? It's been a bit.
Is this thing on? Is this working? Can y'all hear me?
It's on.
I forgot what you looked like, man. That's how long it's been.
Pod. It's time to pod.
Your pod?
I think so.
You should pod.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Let's do a pod.
it. All right, what are y'all excited to talk about?
Ray?
What am I excited to talk about?
Yeah.
Raymond.
Stuff.
Stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
Like stuffing or
Like,
Oh, you know what? Stuffing sounds good too, man.
just stuff.
we could do early
stuff.
Thanksgiving,
We could do early Thanksgiving. And by the time the episode would come out, it would probably be for Thanksgiving.
probably.
Well, the next episode. By the time y'all get 135, turkey time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Genesis.
Let's see. I guess I'm excited to talk about. Oh no, I'm ready to have our conversation. I feel like when we did this 2 years ago, I was always excited about the conversation piece. So I'm trying to pod.
Yeah.
So the conversation piece today, Yu-Gi-Oh versus Street Fighter. It
So
sounds
about the
weird.
stuffing?
It sounds weird. There's no stuffing.
Damn it.
It sounds weird, but Yu-Gi-Oh versus Street Fighter. That's what I am excited to talk about.
You're pumped.
Unbiased Ann.
What you got?
I'm excited to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is that what we're reviewing today?
We are. You better get it together.
Well, I think the problem is, where's that fourth wall? I don't have my fourth wall button.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh man,
There's Mike B.
where's my fourth wall button? So I've seen Spider-Man
You have?
across the Spider-Verse.
You've seen the new one already?
Yeah.
Don't talk to me.
So I've seen it already. So that's what's fresh in my mind. I feel like Guardians was like we've seen so much.
Doesn't it feel like it's been, I don't know, about
It's
4
like
weeks?
well, at least 2 months. I feel like it feels like for me.
Yeah.
Actually, unlimited.
I mean, we've been on vacation. Like we've done all kind of stuff.
What's that like?
Rainy and cold. But anyway,
Okay, well, there you
it's
go.
a different story.
Yeah.
So anyway, the social media thing, I don't even remember.
You want me to give our podcast social media?
No, because you are our podcast now.
Oh, that's true.
You've been kidnapped.
That's true.
Like you will not be able to leave this room
We're locking
Until-
you in here.
until episode 200.
Oh, great. So what's that, like 20 years?
At least 20
Okay.
years. Follow us on social media. I'm going to try to get active again on Instagram. So
There you go.
follow us there, ANX Gamecast. All the people on YouTube right now, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. And actually, I think they changed some stuff since the last time we did this. I need y'all to comment anything in the comments below. Anything.
and
It doesn't matter what it is, because that's just what YouTube wants.
And don't forget, on episode 135, we will talk about the new year.
Yes. New Year's.
Our New Year resolutions and
New Year's
everything.
2025.
It'll be 2023, and it'll be the recap of the entire year.
Right. The entire 2 years.
The entire 2 years. That's right.
So anyway, let's go ahead and get into
Round 1.
round one, and let's talk about the anime that we're currently watching.
Unbiased Ann.
No.
Genesis.
I'll go first. A little rusty.
Like,
Yeah.
he just said, no, ladies, not.
No,
He's
not
like, I got this.
Not this time.
So I am watching, and everybody gets on me when I say stuff like this. It's an anime, and it's specifically on Netflix, and everybody says, that's trash, and what are you doing? And they give me this kind of response, and I'm like, I get it, but on the treadmill that I get on about as many times as I do a podcast, the thing that comes through the best, because of the distance of the treadmill away from my router, is Netflix. So that's why I watch the anime that's probably not great. Like, I wouldn't sit down and pop popcorn and watch this, but I'll watch it on the tread. So this one, I'm going to butcher the name, but it's called Kakegurui. That wasn't bad.
Oh,
not too bad.
Not for English. In Spanish, that meant something completely different.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry about it, man.
Okay, not okay. So this anime in particular is about school, and I know you like the school stuff.
Yeah.
So you might end up having to watch this.
Okay.
But they gamble, and they gamble all the time. Everything they
so
do.
it's about my school.
Yeah, that was your
Okay,
school.
sure. Yeah.
So they gamble about everything. So if there's a dispute, hey man, I don't like you. You don't like me. Well, we're gonna gamble and see who wins, and whoever wins, you never come to the school again. the loser,
Oh wow.
right? So it's things
It's
like
like
that.
my school.
Dang, never come to school again?
Yeah, never come to the school again. And then it gets more deep and a lot more darker than that, where limbs are being put up,
Oh, you gambling body parts?
body parts, eyeballs, fingers.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then ultimately, obviously, no, you just get to die now if you lose. Like you get to die. And the games are, some of them are, they look more traditional, but they have really weird rules. And they're really strict rules, and they have people that oversee the game to make sure that it's being played properly. I'll give you an example of a weird game. So there's one game, right? Everybody sticks a finger into and there's a blade, right?
What?
Yeah. And every turn, everyone, there's one string that's cut. We don't know which string is holding the blade. Whoever quits, chickens out. It's kind of like a game of chicken. Whoever quits or moves their finger when the string is cut, you lose.
So what do you
So what do
get
you
if you
lose?
win?
It just depends on whatever you're gambling.
Because why are people risking their life? Like, what are they getting?
It just depends. So
Well,
this current season is about who's going to be school president, who's going to run the entire school.
The heck?
So they're gambling for votes. They divvied out votes in the form of chips.
Be like, you can have
And
it.
whoever has the most chips at the end of everything becomes the school president. So that's what season 2 is about.
And this is not how it is at WinStar.
It might be. You ain't going to the high stakes, the high roller room.
I have.
Well.
It was just money. So they kicked me out.
Big baller.
No, they kicked me out.
So anyway, would I recommend this to people? It's definitely not for kids. There's this weird sexual energy with it because the main girl, like
Isn't that all anime?
no, this one is like, how can I put this? She gets off by gambling,
Oh.
but
Isn't that all anime?
no, but it's like the higher the risk.
The bigger the orgasm?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's basically what's going on here. It's not lewd. There's not a lot of fan service. It's not that kind of anime, but it's just her. She's just kind of weird. She's just kind of obsessed. And
God, I kind of want to see this on OnlyFans now.
well, there you go.
You know,
Do it.
finger goes in, something drops.
I don't know. That doesn't sound
don't
appealing. Don't start them.
That's an OnlyFans thing.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it, but all of the games that they gamble on are very unique and they're kind of cool, and it makes you think. This anime makes you think because some of the rules are so complex. It's like, oh, and then there's different strategies, and then there's people cheating, and then it's just like all comes together, and then you have, not only are you playing the rules and this weird kind of game, but you're also trying to defeat the person who's cheating, and you're trying to figure out who's cheating. And so there's different, I mean, they have card games, they have all kind of different types of games, but I thought the one with the finger was cool.
Are you watching dubbed or subtitle?
I only watched dubbed. I don't do subtitles.
Yeah, Netflix to me is not fantastic when it comes to subtitles.
Oh, really?
It's a little hard to watch because sometimes I'll watch something with subtitles and it's not what they're saying at all. But they're like, "This is what they're saying on the subtitles." I'm like, "That's not that. No,
Yeah.
that's not it at all. They're saying something completely different." But I know they've been blasted for that before.
Well, I think that's just been a common thing in anime since the beginning of time. The subtitles are not necessarily a direct translation of what the Japanese.
I feel Crunchyroll has a pretty good
I just feel
grasp
like,
on it.
yeah, I mean, they have to because
Yeah.
they don't really do a lot of dub. So they have to get it right. So anyway, let's see.
Unbiased Dan.
I promise you this time.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
So,
Hey.
yep, we
hey.
just finished watching Cowboy Bebop. Of course, Genesis had already seen it,
I seen that.
but I watched it and I liked it. Except I didn't like how it ended, but I don't want to spoil anything if you're ever going to watch it.
No, it's you can't spoil anything.
It's this one's been out there for a bit. Little
Okay.
bit.
Over 20 years.
Actually breaks his rules on how old to watch stuff.
No,
No movies.
well, almost 98 and up. So this is
It's
good.
close.
It's
Yeah.
Close.
Okay, so
So what did you like about it specifically?
I don't know. I
Because for you to like just really like an anime, you know,
So,
Uh-oh.
excuse me. I liked
That's how boring you've been.
No.
It put me to sleep.
it was
It
so
helped me sleep
good.
to get the Z's.
No, okay, so I didn't like it as much as I like something like When They Cry.
Okay.
But I liked the characters more than the stories because I know they're like hunting people down. What do you call it though?
The bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter, yeah. But I just more liked kind of like the characters and how they interacted with each other, and I loved Ed and Ein,
Mm-hmm.
the dog. Ed is so funny to me because she always, first of all, I thought it's the girl, but she always talks in third person about herself. And I just love it. She's like, Ed likes it. Ed thinks that's a good idea. And anyway, so I don't know. I don't have a lot to say on this. I just like, because I can't say I love the art style or whatever else. I liked the stories and I liked the characters.
Well, it's good character development. I think that was part of the issue that the live version
So
had a problem with us, from what I understand.
Is that what we watched?
We watched the first episode
Of the live version.
Yeah.
So I thought, so he was, the whole reason, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the whole reason we started watching this is because he wanted to watch the live version.
Right.
But he was like, but you need to watch the anime before we watch the live version. So we started watching the anime. And so at the end, so it's not a spoiler. This is so old. When he dies, I was like, he's not dead because there's a live version. So there's got to be.
Well, you said that about the movie because there was a movie.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about because there was a movie. But then we started watching the live version or movie.
We watched the movie.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, I'm getting things mixed up.
Yeah, you can.
We watched the anime, then we watched the movie, which was also anime.
Right.
Okay, I'm thinking it was like a live version movie. I'm getting everything mixed up. So at the end of the movie, I was like, he didn't die because there's a live version. So that I wasn't even upset or anything. I really just thought this isn't over. And then we start watching the live action and it's like, this is like in the middle of the anime, right?
No, I think you're getting confused again. So what happened was,
correct me.
we watched the anime and she didn't care about the ending because she knew there was a movie coming out.
Right.
But the movie actually happened somewhere, I don't want to say right in the middle.
That's it.
But it happened in the middle of the anime.
That's it. Okay.
So then after the movie, she realized, oh, Spike might actually be dead.
Okay, sorry. I got it all mixed up. So let's just forget live action.
Nobody cares about that.
Let's just not talk about that because that's what's getting me confused. That's exactly what happened. We watched the movie and I thought, but then I realized like the timing, and then I realized later that he did die, and I was like, oh.
But did he?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know, but it's
We
kind
don't
of
know for
implied.
sure. But it's very heavily implied because Julia, when she died, some of the same things happened cinematically as it did when Spike collapsed at the end. So that kind of leads you to believe that he's actually dead.
Now the live action is not a retelling.
It's not anything.
We only watched one episode.
So just my 2 cents on what I've seen so far. It tries too hard to be an anime. Some of those weird, over the top, I'm getting shot and my gun goes straight up in the air and I'm shooting bullets and I'm just going, oh, like all that kind of crap. Like it's trying too hard to recreate that in a live action form. It's trying to be too true to the anime. And it's just like, this is not working for me.
Didn't work for a lot of people. That's why they're not getting a season 2.
The good thing about it was Jet, the voice. It was like damn near spot on. I was like, oh, okay. This is, that was good. But everything else was just okay at best. I mean, it wasn't great.
But the anime, you're saying you love.
Well, I liked it.
liked.
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I did really like it. Like, I would want to watch more. I would want to watch another season.
Yeah, it's weird that they.
So would the fans that first saw it around the first time.
Really?
They would love to see
over
more
20
of
years ago. We
Yeah.
would like to see more.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that there hasn't been, and then especially even now with all the the resurgence of Dragon Ball coming back. We know Bleach is coming back. Them redoing like Trigun and like Fist of the North Star kind of kicked that off.
That's what Mike used to always do.
Terrible. Mike B. It's just weird that we're not getting, and there might be a legitimate, well-known reason. I just don't know it because I don't really keep up with. I'm not really in the weeds like that. Like it's too much anime out there for me to be trying to read up on why there's not a new Cowboy Bebop, right?
I do love the fact though that there are certain shows though. It's okay. It's okay not to have that next season. It's okay not to continue.
So I thought it was new because remember when we were at GameStop one time and
shout out.
Remember we got that, I don't remember what the deal was, but we ended up getting that Cowboy Bebop bag because it has a little corgi on it.
I don't remember.
It was some cheap little bag. I think it was one of those deals where they were like, fill up the bag.
Oh, fill up the bag and get 20% off or whatever.
Yeah. So
okay.
then I see Cowboy Bebop stuff everywhere.
Well, because they did the 25th anniversary. 25th?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
So that's why you're seeing a lot of Cowboy Bebop stuff.
Okay.
So,
I when you told me it was like that old, I was like, I'm very confused.
It's old. It's old.
Yeah.
It's one of the first real, well, maybe not, I shouldn't say it that way, but it is one that really caught mass appeal for those of us stateside.
It was right in the beginning of like the boom of anime. Like it was around right in the beginning as Pokemon blew up and then Toonami came out and Dragon Ball blew up. It was a part of that slate. Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi Muyo kind of era. It started coming on Adult Swim. Not too long after that. So it was right there with all that. So at any given night on Saturday night, if you watched Toonami back in the early 2000s, you would see uncut versions of Dragon Ball Z, Ghost in the Shell, Cowboy Bebop, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like right in the beginning of like the big boom. Now, super hardcore anime nerds, they're going to be like, that came 10 years. I used to watch blah, blah, blah. And I used to buy tapes and this. Okay, that's fine. But the real thing that made anime mainstream, Cowboy Bebop wasn't around for that.
I was watching Akira on Beta.
Right. On Betamax.
No one cares about Beta. Beta didn't care about Beta.
I listened to the album on a cassette tape. Side A and B. Yeah. So,
LP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, enough Cowboy Bebop.
Raymond.
What you got? What is this?
We had this discussion about you specifically not feeling too much love for this.
Yeah, I want
out after the first episode and stuff. So now,
wait, what is this? Can you read? You can read that.
That says Demon Slayer.
Dang, you've been practicing learning,
man. I'm just telling you,
Rosetta Stone,
Duolingo.
Rosetta Stone.
I'm on Duolingo. I'm on that free paid prescription. That doesn't make sense.
The trial version.
That doesn't make sense, but it does. No, man. I'll tell you what. We're on season 3 now. We're current. We're watching this when it comes out across the seas at the same time. And again, hats off to Crunchyroll for
shout out
doing a really good job, or at least I think a decent job or good job on the subtitles. Feels a lot more of that story. But my son got me into this and was like, Dad, he's huge into any type of manga, and especially it translating into anime for
shout out
for the stories. So he's read, I think, all but the last volume.
Okay.
For the series, but it is interesting to him to see it progress in this manner.
Sure.
I agree that first season there was some stuff that I was like, dude, that it just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Where they take more of a kid spin to it. The past 2 arcs, train arc, and then now we're in Swordsmith Village. They've been better about leaving that kind of off the table.
Okay.
Or what they do is they have their in credit scenes where a lot of that's left flat. Kind of that cartoonish, more style to it. This season though has been actually pretty good. Like I'm into the season.
Okay.
Wait, how long did Michael Jackson stick around?
Haven't seen him since second arc in that Michael Jackson persona.
So when? Well, a better question for me is, when was he introduced? How far did I get into the show? When did he show up? Was that first season? Was it the end of first season?
End of the first arc, and I haven't seen him in that persona. They've shown him but now it's very much more.
So
of
we
a-
pretty much got through the first season or first saga.
Yeah, you're not going to see him like that in any of the subsequent
Because
seasons.
I mean, probably 2 episodes after we were done.
Yeah, we
About 2 episodes after Michael Jackson showed up, we were done.
It took us about 10 seconds, as I'm sure everyone else did as well, where we just referred to him as hee. Yeah. And we laugh. But the funny thing is, I love the PVC collectible because we do have one of him. And
Oh,
it's
really?
Just, it's
With the suit?
yeah,
And the hat?
full get up, and I'm like, yeah, I like that. And he's like, why? I was like, because it looks like Michael Jackson. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Like I think I can subscribe to that. I don't want to watch it, but I think I would buy that figure if I saw it. So it's just Michael Jackson with red eyes.
100%. But we haven't really seen that get up, him presenting himself that way. I think, gosh, I'm gonna have to go back a couple seasons, but I think we've seen him present himself as a kid, or as.
Oh yeah, because what was he taking over people's body?
Yeah. Oh
Was
yeah.
that was his
Yeah,
thing,
that
right?
was
Yeah,
his thing.
I do remember that.
And so we only really kind of see that again, that Michael Jackson stance, and it really in the first season. I haven't really seen it since then, and now it's a voice from the shadows, more or less.
Okay.
When they talk about him or discuss anything, or it's a different body completely, whether it's a child, a female, a guy, or whatever, or again, just that voice shadow. So I don't know if they're gonna bring him back out and present him that way. So far, how they're presenting the demons in general, it's always a little bit different. Some are grotesque, some are very much humanoids.
So he was taking over Michael Jackson's body at that time?
Yeah, but surprisingly, he just had a wife with him, and his child. That was the first arc. So
Yeah.
But again, like it's been decent. I'm actually surprised at the depths that this show goes to.
I just feel like it was a little bit of bait and switch. Because like I said, I love the first episode. Like the first episode
fantastic.
was dope. Like
little teary eye.
Like straight.
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be dope. And then it was just like, okay, we're gonna present to you an anime that's nothing like the first episode.
And the train episode, it's a tragic. It's funny, and I would use it as a joke with my kid, and I would be like, oh man, because he would always be like tasty, and I was like, oh, that's kind of childish. And then as my son was explaining it, as the episodes explained it, he would always say the tasty and just be about everything he ate, because he always went into battle not knowing if that was the last meal he was going to have. So he always wanted to make sure he expressed it in the best way he could. And when you start hearing and then being told that that's why he's doing that, it's like, Jesus, that's harsh,
Yeah,
and
that's heavy.
yeah, and you realize that the last meal that he eats, that's one of the last meals he eats, and he just wanted to make sure that he went out there. And I think the other thing I'm liking about this is, Ichigo's time with the demons as they're dying, and they're telling the backstory of how they became. And some of them are very much, what you would expect. I just want to be a demon for the power, blah blah blah. But a lot of them are very much like, this is what happened, and this is why it became to be a demon.
Just
Circumstance, yeah.
Versus a decision.
Versus decisions, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I look forward to the episodes on Sunday. And for me, it's very much a father-son bonding moment. So, you can go play catch outside or catch a demon slayer, and we do both.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm good. I like it.
All right. I don't know if I'll ever try it again, but
It's the first season with what they did. I think as you get further along the seasons, I think it starts fleshing out more, not just story but characters.
so I've heard that about another anime that I saw, which was My Hero, and we were on a mini vacation. We went to a con in San Antonio. Shout out.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just on limited channels in the hotel room, but Cartoon Network work was there, and My Hero was on. So I was like, all right, let me check this out. The whole freaking episode was literally about them trying to get Deku to cry. One of the reasons I stopped watching the
Wasn't that
show
an episode of Friends
is
Chandler was trying to cry?
Yes.
You're asking the wrong person.
It's called Chandler Can't Cry or something like that, yeah.
But the reason I stopped watching the anime is because every episode he's crying.
Yeah, and remember that was Riverwalk Anime is where we went.
Shout out.
It was awesome. And I was stood in line for 4 hours to get Chris Sabat. Is that his name? Sabat.
Sabat,
Chris
Sabat,
Sabat's
whatever. Vegeta.
autograph because he's Vegeta, but he's also
All Might.
All Might.
Mhm.
So that line was like doubly long. And I kind of became friends with this couple in line because we were standing together for so long.
Oh,
And-
I thought it was a different type of con.
No.
Okay.
And so I was talking to the wife, and she was really the one who wanted the autograph because she likes My Hero. And I was like, yeah, we tried watching My Hero. I said, but my husband was not feeling it because he just said Deku was like crying all the time. She's like, yeah, he does, but you just have to get through. What did I say? She said like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And you were like,
no.
no, because we got to season 2.
Yeah, we at least got to season 2.
And he was still crying.
Crying and not whining or
Yeah.
complaining, like literal tears every episode. And so I randomly watch an episode 2 years later,
Yep, and he's still crying.
and he's still crying. I was just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe he's just in touch with his feelings. You
maybe
think
he's just
about that.
maybe he's just a crybaby,
He could be that too.
and I don't
You don't tolerate that.
a little bit, but not
Not for 2.
not for 7 seasons,
Right.
or whatever it's gonna be, right?
I will say that's when Demon Slayer took a turn for the better as well, is when you get that fool that's always crying as well, and he's out inside of a couple seasons. And I think him not having his normal gang with him during this
Mhm.
arc is actually serving the story pretty well.
Okay.
So just FYI.
All right, we'll see. Well, anyway, y'all ready for round 2?
Round
Yes.
2.
Round 2.
Okay.
So speaking of these conventions, these are not paid advertisements. If y'all have ever seen our show, we get about 10 views per episode. So we don't.
Hey, quit your bragging, all right?
All right.
God.
So we don't have sponsors, but there is a specific company called V1 Tech, and they create some super dope pictures. And
Metal plates as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, they do.
They
They do
do all kinds of
customizations
stuff.
of computers.
Yeah.
They do all sorts of stuff.
They got mouse pads. They got all kind of stuff. But we're getting the wall art. We're gonna put some up. I don't know if it will be visible to these cameras, but anyway, so we've been buying. We go to a con, we buy a couple, we go to another con. Okay, so we were trying to figure out behind Ray, there's 2 spots that
You can't really see 'em.
that could be visible. Right now, you see Metal Gear Rising, Dragon Ball, Xenoverse. You can see some Pokemon cards over there.
The Uncharted 4 that I'm about to steal on the way out.
It's sealed, so
I didn't say I was going to open it. I said steal. Steal.
So we were thinking about putting some wall art right there, some official V1 Tech merch, right? So it came down to the Dark Magician Girl and Red Eyes Black Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh,
Okay.
or Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighter. And then what did you say?
So I said, because originally we had said we'd put the 2 Yu-Gi-Oh ones up, and I was like, no, you know what? We should really put the Street Fighter ones up because I think more people know about that. And what did you say?
I said, I don't know. I don't think you're crazy or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think that the conversation turned into which one was more popular.
Well, you said that like Street Fighter only sold 750,000 copies or something. You said 250.
Any given Street Fighter game, let's put it this way: Street Fighter is not Call of Duty or Madden. Like, it's a well-known household thing, but it's not selling millions and millions of copies when it comes out. It's just not.
Right. But I said either way though.
Well, let's find out.
Uh-oh.
But I said either way though, people, even if you're not playing Street Fighter, more people know about Street Fighter characters, especially Chun-Li and Ryu. And you were talking about how many, like the number of people that like are into Yu-Gi-Oh, whether it's selling or playing or collecting or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But to me, the people that are doing that, Ray, are you listening?
I am totally listening right now.
The people that are into Yu-Gi-Oh, that's like a select group of people. It might be a ton. They're volume-wise, there's probably more people that are into Yu-Gi-Oh as far as playing, collecting, or selling versus who's playing Street Fighter. But I feel like those people know about Street Fighter, and other people know about Street Fighter too that don't even play the game.
Okay. I'm going to give you my opinions, and I'm going to give you the facts. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For me, because I grew up coin dumping into machines to where eventually I got to where I could go to an arcade with $1 and be able to play for 4 hours
Mm-hmm.
right off this
Hadouken!
And
You win! Perfect!
I am like you. I will always remember Street Fighter. I just will. Because I didn't know about Yu-Gi-Oh! What I just looked up and found, though, tells me at least it sells. At least in the States, 1 million people more appreciate Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right, but my point was not that, because I said more people are buying, selling, or collecting Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, I said that.
Well, no, I mean I'm
And then-
agreeing with you
right,
though.
right,
I'm
right.
not disagreeing that the volume of people is higher with Yu-Gi-Oh. But what I'm saying is those people, those Yu-Gi-Oh people, we'll call them,
Dang.
they probably know about Street Fighter.
Is that racist? I don't know.
Those people,
Them people,
they
those
know
people.
about
She doubled down on that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
they know about Street Fighter and they know about Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But a lot of people like me know about Street Fighter only. There's a lot of people that don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh.
I think you're right. I think what it is that Street Fighter has become part of the lexicon.
Culture, like pop culture.
Pop culture, it's embedded. You don't sit there, especially in our age group, right? We're going to know that more. Shoot, they just released Street Fighter 6 on
Mhm.
Friday of this week.
I got it.
I think you're not wrong. I do think that because of the hardcore audience that Yu-Gi-Oh has, it probably makes more money because again, it's all about
Yeah.
repeat business, right? But I wouldn't disagree with you. I would say, like, for me, like when we started first talking about it, I think I immediately said, "Oh, you got to put up Street Fighter. Like, do Street Fighter." I'd rather see Ryu and Ken and
See,
Chun-Li.
oh, that's funny that you said that. Because what I said, one of my points was some of these people who claim, and I'm not necessarily talking about you, that claim they're a Street Fighter fan, they don't even pronounce Ryu's name correctly.
Yeah, I know.
So-
but
so it's like
I've heard the Ryu thing. I don't like it.
But
And
that's
so
his name.
for me, it's going to be how I grew up, and I was like, oh, we always refer to him as Ryu.
Mm.
But I understand what you're saying. You're not wrong. It is not the proper pronunciation.
So yeah, so like I said, so yes, the Street Fighter people might not know about Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's less Street Fighter people.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm saying
there's less Street Fighter people though. There's more people out there who have bought a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, but you're talking about the knowledge of.
exactly.
Your point, right, is that if someone goes out there and asks the general person on the street, "Hey, which one would you like better? Which one have you heard of?"
Right.
They're going to say Street Fighter. Even if they've never played a game, if they've never they know
But-
something about this thing called Street Fighter.
So, so to that point, because this was also brought up, I said, well, we're trying to appeal to a certain fan base, and the people who have simply heard of Street Fighter but have never spent a dime on it,
Mhm.
those people are not watching ANX Gamecast.
right, which I do not disagree with.
So it's just like,
Mhm.
why are we marketing to those people who would never watch this pod?
Well, but that's true. But that's not the question at hand, though. The question at hand is, what am I going to want to see up there? What do you think the average person would want to be up there? Right? And if the average person on the street, they're going to be like, oh, it's probably going to be this one,
Mhm.
which is going to be Street Fighter. Whereas if it gets into as much of a section of the group that we are,
Which
right,
we are.
and it parallels down, then really what my decision is going to come down to is which one looks more badass on my wall. And it's not going to matter between Street Fighter or Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of the day. It's going to be like, I like this picture because this one is just
So to me,
powerful.
it's Dark Magician Girl, Ryu, Chun-Li, Red Eyes Black Dragon. As far as which one looks more badass.
Right.
That's just me though.
The Chun-Li one is so awesome.
I think you got to stick Chun-Li up.
Oh my
Stick it
gosh.
up. Again, love but if it looks like trash, using one of your words now, Genesis.
Hey.
If
No,
it looks like trash.
None of them look like trash.
Yeah, but if it did, I don't want that one up. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I probably wouldn't have bought it either. So anything that you bought or purchased is already something you know you want to see eventually on the wall.
Mhm.
So I think the original discussion, I still stand by that. I believe more people at least know of Street Fighter, but in the end, I think your point though really was valid that Yeah, but those random people who only just know of are not going to be watching this show. So that I think we both kind of had points there.
If you're talking about art for the show, you're gonna get a fan that goes, "Oh, look, they put up Street Fighter." Whereas, if you see something from Yu-Gi-Oh, you're gonna get some hardcore fan, which is really what you're trying to appeal to, and they're gonna be like, "Dude, did you see what they've got in the back?"
Yeah,
like that's gonna catch their eye, and they're gonna want to tell their friends because it's like they're at least in our club enough to know that that's something that we can.
Right, because no, don't get me wrong, Dark Magician Girl and Red Eyes Black Dragon are like mainstream, but they are not the main. Let's say monsters, dual monsters. They're not the main monsters of the show. They might not even be top 5. And at this point, because I haven't watched the anime in a while, it might not even be top 10 of top popular monsters from the show anymore. So
if people see those, they're going to know you are serious because you're not just putting like the token people.
Right.
Well, he's not. And by the way, I would still Star Wars print behind Unbiased Stand. Percent down.
I don't even know who those people are in that painting though.
But I can get that picture almost anywhere if I really.
Yeah.
Whereas in something like what you're talking about,
it's
grabbing
a custom piece.
Yeah, it's going to be something that. How did you get that, man? It's awesome. I would love to have that piece. And you're like myself, you know, there's stuff that you just want to have original art for, or whatever, and that's what you like. I got original art in my office, and people may look at that and be like, "What is that?" It doesn't matter because that's.
Yep.
Know. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think if you're trying to go for the hardcore audience, having something in there that shows that, hey, I don't just talk about this because I just want to get on the, you know, streaming, if you will. But I'm also, you know, deep into it.
Yeah.
You're not just the president, you're also.
Yeah. So anybody out there want to catch these hands in a real duel, y'all let me know.
Don't let me know because I cannot do it.
Because I will pull out the deck. DECK.
D-deck.
I will pull out the deck.
The double D?
No.
Oh.
So.
Is that a different?
There is a DD.
Of course there is.
Yeah, there is a DD deck. But anyway, that's a whole different story.
I tried learning Yu-Gi-Oh. It's hard. I could not pick it up.
You know, I am just now trying to figure out, as old as I am, I'm trying to figure out Dungeons and Dragons, and that has a lot more math than that. I thought. Whenever
you're ready to do.
Man, my kids both want to do it. We're gonna have to set up a little thing here.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh duels.
Not Dungeons
and Dragons.
No. All right, fine.
There's different types of nerds, right? Okay. And then we probably need to do a pod on this.
You're in the Big Bang Theory realm.
I'm everywhere. It's one of those, master of none, but knowledgeable in everything kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of comics, I'll go toe to toe with you.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings type people out there that I don't know what y'all talking about.
That's Jason with, Doctor Who. I'm out after the TARDIS.
I've never seen
one episode.
I haven't either.
Then you got your Game of Thrones nerds.
Never seen it.
I've never seen it.
I couldn't watch it after season 3 because I have a thing about as much violence against children as that show had. I'm out after.
Walking Dead nerds.
I did see a couple of those episodes, but
I've never seen it.
Just in the middle.
Up to season 8, and I dropped out. But I read that entire comic book.
Yeah.
Before they even thought about.
So there's different types of nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
for sure.
you got your DD nerds and you got your dueling. You got people who still play Pokemon. That was a horrible game. But anyway, the card game. But anyway, y'all ready to get into the main topic of the show?
Yes.
Round 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
Let's start with this.
Uh-oh.
When you guys are scoring,
we talking trash about each other?
No. Just scoring a movie or something that you watched, and you're doing a rating. And we've talked about that.
For years now.
Yeah, on my show, I say my show, on mine and my friend's show, which I want to do. You saw not even mentioned right now. No one watches it anyway. But we go by really, I think, the emotional spectrum for a movie.
Feelings.
And so we take a look at the creative side, the writing. How did it make us? What is our emotion? Did we even like the movie? Whereas when you guys break down literally a score.
I break down a score.
Yeah, you break down a score. So let's talk about that. What are your high scores and low scores? Like, so we're rating off of 1 to 5, right?
1 to 10.
1 to 10. And you've got 1 as your lowest, and then you've got 10 as your highest. And then you break it down into categories. Down to
graphics,
cinematography, music, writing.
Yeah, those major categories, yeah.
If you were scoring this one.
Because we didn't. Because we were trying to get as prepared as possible, and the last thing right before we hit record was we didn't score this movie. So
what would your score be? Off the top of your head?
Off the top of the dome as a movie. So let me explain for anybody who's new or forgot. So me, I don't care about your feelings. And what I mean is, I don't care how the movie made you feel. I don't care how it made your mama feel. I don't care. Is it a good movie? Does it hit these points? Right? Music, cinema, all the stuff, graphics, all the stuff that we talked about across the board. Does it hit these points, hit these marks?
And tell them why you're like that. Because I know the story behind it, but where were you working that you started coming up with this point?
I used to work at Dollar Tree. Not Dollar Tree.
Not Dollar Tree.
So I used to work at a place called Blockbuster Video.
For you young ones, that was a place where
that was the place to be.
Friday night, you were going on a date. You were having pizza, and then you were going there to pick out the movie you were going to watch with your significant other. Sure,
Blockbuster and chill. But even if you're a kid, your parents are taking you.
Yeah,
it's
Friday
like
night,
super exciting.
Go rent the new video game.
Yeah,
100%.
Maybe a movie,
because 5-day video game.
Or 3-day.
3-day. That's right. There were some 3 days in the beginning.
Yeah, some of that stuff was. Okay, so here's the deal. The more recent conversations that we've had about reviewing movies, right? And I don't want to disqualify anybody here, but that's basically what I tried to do with the last conversation that we had. It is, I feel like there's a certain, everybody has an opinion, right? And everybody says everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I'm like, but they're really not. Where are the credentials behind every single person's opinion that is on the internet? And so it's just like, it's easy for anybody to just get up here and critique a movie or just say it's the best movie they ever seen. That's easy to do. But what's hard to do is when you're working at Blockbuster and people are coming in and spending their money, and then they come back drunk at 1:00 in the morning and mad because you gave them a bad movie.
Sorry about that.
So it's like all the people out here who have opinions and takes on movies, that's easy to do behind a keyboard. Do it face to face with a person. Would you really recommend this to a stranger that you do not know? So that is how I go about rating my movies. Would a complete stranger enjoy this movie that I know nothing about? There's no qualifiers here.
Because you can't take their feelings because everyone's coming up to you in a row and in line. So you got to have something.
Is it a solid movie that anybody would enjoy? Obviously, it's not going to be 100%, but obviously, I can say, Ray, go check out the Mortal Kombat movie because I know Ray and I know you're a fan.
Yeah.
However, I'm not telling unbiased Ann to go watch that Mortal Kombat movie because it sucked, and she's not a Mortal Kombat fan.
Not a fan. Yeah.
So generally speaking, I'm not recommending that movie, and it's going to get a low score from me.
Which means I'm the only one that actually gets to get the real side of Genesis out of all you watchers.
Well, and I want to add something too, because we used to have this conversation all the time, and he's like, I worked at Blockbuster. And finally I was like, nobody cares that you worked at Blockbuster. Why do you think that's...
And dropped a fuck you, Blockbuster.
Well, I'm just like, I didn't get where he was coming from, because I'm like, so you worked at Blockbuster. Well, then he kind of started explaining to me more about what his responsibilities were at Blockbuster, because I didn't ask anybody at Blockbuster what they thought about anything. I went and picked out a movie, I checked out, and I walked out. But apparently, a lot of people do go up to them and ask them for...
I need a good movie.
Right. So he took it very seriously.
Yep.
and they were expected to go home and watch movies, right? Isn't that what
yeah.
you said?
Yeah.
There was a lot more going on as far as expectations that I was aware of.
You took very much that Quentin Tarantino approach when he was doing movies in the 70s and 80s and working at stores.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say the same thing. He would have to sit down, figure out a path, because he would get those grumpy people that come back and are like, dude, you recommended shit to me. Don't ever talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And you'd lose a customer.
Yeah,
Right.
you would definitely
So,
lose a customer.
yeah.
Like, yeah, because I'm not gonna say the name, but there's a person that worked with me at Blockbuster, and he would recommend these weird Royal Tenenbaums movies, these weird little, and it's not that they might have been good in their own way for a certain audience, but the random people that are coming in are not looking for that movie.
No, the Royal Tenenbaums, no.
No.
And you don't have time to know those customers. You don't have time. Okay,
No.
well, tell me, what do you like?
Right. Tell me all about what you're interested in.
No.
Did you ever break up with someone? Okay, did you ever, after you broke up, eat ice cream, or did you go to other comfort foods?
Or did you go to fried foods?
Yeah, like you don't have time for that. So to develop the system, which when we first met, we had a lot of argument back and forth because that was our thing too. I was like, well, look, man, I mean, that's not how I'm feeling. So that was a conversation. The one that we just had was one that we had a while back. So I'd be like, okay, I get that. I respect that. Maybe I don't agree with it, but I understand it now.
But we had this, Genesis and I had the conversation about feeling the other day, because in my opinion, because we view this differently, and again, I'm the same way. Like, I respect what you're saying, I understand what you're saying, but I think that when directors are putting movies together and the writer, everybody's working together to create this movie, they are trying to create a feeling. And if that feeling does come across to the audience, then it worked. You know what I mean? So I do think that plays into it. But he's not really into the feeling. He's into the technical aspect of a movie.
Well, even the technical writing, and some of the people that I listen to, they do have, I listened to one reviewer specifically on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and, from an emotional side, I was like, I love the flick. Thought it was great. But if I'm going down and I'm giving it a true grade, play your game now.
Hey.
Probably like a 7.8.
You did ask me what I would rate the movie.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just because I know what the scores do when I do it, it would probably at least be an 8, but that's mostly because the music and the graphics will bump it up some.
It up a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Right. And that's why I would say I would rate it a 7.8. However, with my emotional side in this and seeing this flick, there's very few people I wouldn't recommend this movie to, including people who aren't into this type of stuff. Like, I would tell them, go sit down with the trilogy, because thankfully, with the exception of the first one, this particular Marvel trilogy doesn't really need to exist inside of the Marvel universe.
No.
At all.
Yeah,
Because
you're right.
that's what I appreciate about
that was the running joke on this show back when we did it 5 years ago, is that we had never seen Guardians.
Yeah, we were super late till Guardians.
Like, did we see it after like Infinity War?
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
I remember laughing at you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
were-
it was the running joke.
Yeah, it was a running
It
joke.
was funny. Y'all should go back and watch those episodes.
Well, there was no reason we didn't see it. It wasn't like we were not seeing it. We just didn't.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
I think one of the things though is you were having a hard time, dude. It's a freaking tree, and I'm like, look, I'll be the first person. We said it on our show. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Saw it and thought, oh my god, James Gunn killed it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, a lot of people, when you tell them, look, one of the main characters is gonna be a talking raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
So Disney put this out. Well, yeah, kinda, but it's
So what was really happening at the time is they stopped production on when we made the decision to go watch it, and this is before streaming, right? They stopped production on the DVD, the Blu-ray.
Yeah, because we kept looking for it.
And everywhere it was like $40 or $45 or something because they stopped production on it. And I'm like, I'm not paying $45 for a Blu-ray. Like, are you kidding? So then they finally did some kind of repackaging, 10-year something. I don't remember. And then it became cheaper, right? Because they finally re-released it.
I think it was right before the second one.
Yeah. So so I was like, okay, cool, we can watch it now. But I was like, I'm not paying $45. It can't be that good,
Yeah.
So-
But I'm certainly not paying that for something I've never even seen before.
So what did you think about it?
So I guess what I will say, my expert opinion, it was weird. It was cheap. And what I mean by cheap is we're doing spoilers here. I don't think I have my button for that. So this is for me.
Spoilers.
Boo me
Spoiler
because
alert.
I'm not. There you go.
Do it again.
Spoiler alert.
Because Fake Tana is not ready to go. But
But apparently, fake Ann is.
Yeah. But I mean, so them doing a Rocket Raccoon origin story for the third movie and final movie with this particular lineup as we know it is weird. So that's the weird part. Very strange. It goes in line with what's happening in the current phase of the Marvel movies because they're all origin stories.
Mhm.
This was just weird, right? It was cheap because the emotional piece of it was cheap. You had a movie that wasn't great from a writing standpoint and an acting standpoint, and you made it all work by pulling at the emotional strings of people by showing animal cruelty and violence. That was cheap to me. That's a cheap tactic employ to get people to invoke an emotional response into people and be like, oh, that was a good movie because I felt it. Yeah, it's animal cruelty. Like we wouldn't watch that on a normal basis.
But there's other movies with way worse forced emotion. And I look at DC. Okay.
Detective Comics.
Let me come clean.
I still want that from Titan Comics. That thing he had that said a Detective Comics. He said I couldn't afford it though.
Yeah, that's usually when he doesn't want to sell something.
Yeah, I know, but I would put it up. Detective Comics.
It's very they forced. You could tell that they did that with Black Adam, the whole kid. That was a forced emotional pull. This one was not like that.
It was the whole movie.
It was, but to me that was a great directing choice. Like you can tell the director and the editor did a lot into this to put those parts in positions that it was okay to do. I thought making Quill just a raging alcoholic after losing a loved one is pretty on par.
But they didn't expand on that. That was literally 5 minutes of the movie.
And I think that was fantastic because I don't want to spend the entire time. And that's the other thing I will say about this. The reason that you cannot watch, or the reason you don't have to watch the rest of the Marvel universe to enjoy this, especially with how they did Gamora from part 2 to this, you didn't have to watch anything because they explained it in a really funny manner inside of 3 minutes. And I thought that's brilliant because now I'm all caught up if I've never watched anything but the Guardians trilogy. And that, to me, was a great heads-up play. It's one of the many things that I liked about it.
And I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna say one more thing. The ending. Right? The true ending of the movie. I understand it from because we know what's happening with the characters and the actors, right? But to spend the whole movie trying to save your raccoon friend, and then once you save your raccoon friend, it's like, all right, peace out. I'm not gonna hang with y'all no more.
You never done that in real life?
No.
Like I have. I mean,
like save someone's life and just like I'm not hanging with you no more.
Been there for someone where they've decided that you need to move on in a different direction. Sure. I've gone separate ways with friends after a relationship defining moment. Now, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, whatever the case is.
Well, it's one thing for y'all to have a relationship defining moment. It's another thing for you to go and pull that person out of a burning building. And once they heal up from their smoke, lungs, and scarred skin,
yeah, but
you're like, I'm done with. I'm not hanging with y'all.
You
no
don't
more.
think that's life though? You don't think that can't?
Nah, that's weird. Like if you were gonna do that, you might as well just let them die.
Family, I've done that way.
You might as well just let them die then.
Why?
Because you're never gonna see them again.
Saving someone doesn't mean that you have to spend the rest of your life with that person.
That's weird, man. I'm sorry, that's weird.
And that could be right. Like
that's really weird.
Very much a good point.
I'm saying this is bad. That was bad writing. I guess it was bad something. It was very abrupt. It was very strange, and it was just all of a sudden.
It's starting to pound. Hear it in the headphones.
It's just like this is dumb. Like it's not believable on any level from what you're trying to say. Like
well, but I can relate. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe you couldn't relate to doing something like that, but I've been in that position.
So you save someone's life.
Saving someone's life is a lot of different meanings.
I'm saying that in the
I'm different meanings, my friend.
I'm not. I don't care about your feelings.
You can save. You can
I'm
save
talking.
someone's
I'm talking
life.
technically speaking.
You can save someone's life by
life.
talking them off the metaphorical edge of something that they're ready to take their life, and still not continue down that path.
But this was not that same situation. This is not something that Rocket put himself in that way.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it did. It's just that person he realized he needed to move on for whatever closure he needed on his own. Sorry, and go.
So here's the deal. At the end of the movie, I did not, it's like I liked it, but I didn't, because to me, it was really sad.
Yeah.
It was hard. I don't know. I just was like, it had the moments of humor that are very common within Guardians of the Galaxy. Like when he's trying to have this like heartfelt conversation with Gamora, I'll call her Gamora. And he's thinking they're having like a private conversation, and they're like, we can all hear you. Oh yeah, you press red, then blue, then green, or whatever it is. Like that I love. And I even told Genesis afterwards, I'm like, I know that we shouldn't compare movies to previous movies. We should rate them based on how they are. But I didn't like this because it was not like the previous Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Those were very like lighthearted and funny. Yeah. And this one just had me so sad. I was just like, this is so hard to watch.
But I think we should compare movies to other movies.
I think when it's in the trilogy and it's part of a larger story.
Well, what I mean is when you say you get on people when they say like that they're expecting it to be something else, and you're like, well, just because it didn't like, do what you expected it to do.
Right.
That's really what I'm saying. And I expected it to be lighthearted and funny.
But this one, and the reason I say it's okay for this one in particular is because I don't think there was anything about this movie that was better than the previous movies, Guardians specifically. I don't think there was anything in here that was better than the other ones.
It's a continuation of what came before with a darker tone to it.
Yeah. And I just didn't like that. And
I did not enjoy the movie.
No, I really didn't.
I would not want to watch this again because it was so dark. And it was just like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah. These poor little animals.
My God. All of a sudden, the whole DCU thing makes sense to me now. Thanks.
These poor little animals getting like
mutilated,
and then they get shot, and and then he goes, and then that moment when he sees him in heaven, I was bawling. I was literally in my chair just crying. And I mean, I think there's other things involved just because I've gone through a recent very heavy loss, but it made me so sad. And I was just like, I don't want to see this anymore.
No.
And now I will say this. We were talking about the whole recommendation. I would recommend somebody go see this if they're in, if they follow Galaxy.
Well, that's a qualifier.
Well, right. I would, if you've never seen Guardians of the Galaxy, I wouldn't be like, yeah, go see that movie.
No.
I mean,
I wouldn't recommend.
No.
I would recommend start with the first.
Yeah,
and then go through.
Yeah, definitely. If you're interested in them, then start with the first one. But I would still say, like, if you're into them, then you see it. Like, if you've seen 1 and 2, then definitely
if you've seen 1 and
see
2, go for it.
But it was just a little too sad for me.
So when the first one came out, to 2013,
probably something like 2013. Yeah, 2013.
Same story. I just gone through a lot.
Yeah,
and almost the exact same type of loss. Peter Quill with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the first effing 5 minutes of that, I hated that movie. Bawling. Same thing, right? Just crying. I was like, I'd F this movie.
Yeah.
And once it got to that light-hearted feel, I was like, oh, I'm really digging it.
Yeah.
To your point, this one doesn't go into a light-hearted feel.
No.
In fact, from a friendship standpoint, if I save someone out of a burning building, it's the exact opposite of everything you would want to have happen after they just set up everything to have a happier ending. A happier ending.
Because everybody got saved.
Yeah.
Well, except
Right.
for his friends, but that
Right.
was a flashback.
Yeah. So for that, I agree with. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I have some of those same parallels in my life with friends who I thought I'd be friends
Mhm.
that our lives just took us in different ways.
Yeah.
Because of whatever backstory, because of whatever tragedy, because of whatever happened, that it's like it's a bittersweet ending. To me, that's how this one was. I enjoyed it because I was in that mindset of, yeah, sometimes that truly happy Disney ending doesn't happen and real life kicks in.
Well,
That's how I took it.
So I'm gonna take a page from your book. Then you stealing from me. I'm gonna steal from you.
Still from me.
It
Did you
would've-
like that, by the way, at the beginning of that round 3?
Yeah.
I went completely into your
Let's do it.
into
Yeah.
your realm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm stealing from you is it might have been better if they would have done 1 year later.
You know what?
It would have made more sense.
Fair
1 year
enough.
later, they're finishing some
They
random
just do
mission,
the whole thing. It's 1 year later.
and then
Yeah,
they're
okay.
like, "Hey guys, I gotta go."
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I think that's a good
As
point.
opposed to, "Hey, while everybody's celebrating that everyone's still alive, hey guys, got something to tell you."
Yeah, I didn't think about that at the time. I didn't take it to. I really didn't think about it too much that they did that because I was expecting this to be the end anyway.
Yeah.
So it didn't. I didn't even think about anything when they said. I mean, I was kind of like, oh, but it didn't. It wasn't that big a deal to me because I was kind of expecting some sort of like breakup. But that you're right. It does seem kind of weird that like, yay, we're all alive. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. You know,
And
that is
I
kind
see
of
you.
weird.
I see you when I see y'all.
And maybe it was 6 months later, a year later, with no specification of that, and that's a failure to, the scriptwriter. She said, you know what? Let's just throw it all there, and either we're gonna have the audience assume that it's this, or it's gonna come off weird. Either way.
Yeah. Now I'm very much a sucker for a happy ending. So I did like that Gamora or whatever her name was in the movie, that she came around, and then we saw kind of a softer side and she helped and got involved and that she was able to, kind of accept Quill a little more about where he was coming from.
Yeah.
And that he was totally in love with her and whatever. So there were things that I did like the happy ending as far as that was concerned.
But but even with the happy ending, there was another part that I complained about at the end that
What was
was in
that?
there for no apparent reason.
What's that?
When Quill died,
Yeah,
and I was just like,
that one I was frustrated with because I was like, well, one, I expected somebody to die the entire movie.
Yeah.
And even before then, I was like, you got to kill somebody. To get Quill that far along into his death and then to be like, to pull it back, I was like,
Yeah.
either don't do that part.
like, what was it there for?
There's no
Or-
coming back from that.
Yeah, or but they had set it up already. They had already set it up that even that far, you can be healed with one of the med packs, as if
okay.
it was on a video game. And so I knew that's why they kept talking about, oh, it's the med pack. It's fine as long as we
okay.
get him to the med pack. As long as we get him to the med pack.
Yeah.
So I knew they could, but that felt a little cheap to me, because you're like, if you're gonna do it, just do it. But you've already shown him go further than even Yondu did in the second one. I mean, he
Mhm.
actually bloated, which does happen in space.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, ooh, okay, cool. Like, they're going to actually go forward with it. And I'm glad they didn't. But to your point, like, then why have that scene in
Why
there
was
at
it
all?
in there
Like,
to
why,
begin with?
other than force the emotional?
And it did because I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all of the scenes that, like I said, invoked the emotional response just felt
-1.
cheap.
-1.
-1. Which one?
She's already said, Gamora, I'm going to go with Drax. I loved that bit about Nebula. Not Nebula. Oh my gosh, Antenna Lady.
The one with the kids. The
No.
part
oh
with
yeah,
the kids.
what's her
Yeah,
name?
the part with the kids, though, when she tells him, you were never meant to be Drax the Destroyer. You were meant to be Drax the dad. And that his role was to be father. And that's the one that got me. I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking, like, you're gone on it because when you go back and you look at all the movies that came before, it's like, oh my God, yeah. He never really kicked anyone's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Not anyone of importance.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was still very much, when you go back and realize it, he's grieving the entire freaking trilogy up until the point where he's with those other kids.
It's just acting out.
Yeah.
So I think my part was the specific part where he dropped the mic on her with the kids. Not necessarily what she came around and said afterwards, but it was in that moment where it's just like, no, I can speak that language. Like, you're trash.
Yeah.
Like, you just thought I was dumb, but watch this.
Yeah, and I love it. You never asked me.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I love their dynamic because I always think about the second one when he was like, you're hideous.
Yeah.
Like, and he kept saying it so many times.
You're ugly. I'm not on the outside or not on the inside.
Yeah.
Not on the inside.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
I think the other thing, even though it was a dark movie, so I don't know if this was done intentionally, but one, some of the jokes that they did have in there, they just kind of flat. They really weren't that funny.
I don't think any movie that has, unless it's comedy stand up, I think any movie really though is gonna nail 100% of the jokes. I have yet to see one where
this one didn't even nail 50% of it. Like,
it was better than Ragnarok, or not Ragnarok, Love and Thunder. Better than their jokes, sure.
But it wasn't a better movie.
Yeah, it was.
No.
I'll disagree.
No, Love and Thunder, no.
No. I was saying Guardians was a better.
No, I'm saying Love and Thunder was better than Guardians 3.
No.
Yeah.
That's where we're gonna go.
It was a better movie A through Z.
That's where we're gonna go through, and I'll disagree.
They both had great music, but I will say I loved Love and Thunder's music more because they did a lot of the 80s, like Guns N' Roses.
Like,
Well, that was a sub Guns N' Roses mini concert in that movie.
It was awesome.
I mean, just the scene alone with the kids, with all of the powers, was better than all of Guardians 3. Just that scene,
Okay, but
just that scene by itself.
This is where I'll call bullshit on your rating system though, on stuff like that, because I thought that was like, no, you're telling me that scene with the kids, that forced emotional scene with the kids, made that better than the entire Guardians movie?
No. I said that scene by itself was better than the whole movie. I didn't say that made it better than the whole movie. Like, that part by itself, if somebody just said, you want to watch that scene with the kids having the power and fighting the bad guys, or do you want to watch Guardians 3? I'm gonna say, give me the scene.
I always say Guardians 3. I'll say the entire movie.
So it's the same thing with the.
I thought it was ridiculous. So you could do that the whole time, and yet you let Thanos kick everyone's ass. When you could have made everyone on Endgame go, oh, by the way, guys, check out this power. I can give you all the power of Thor. We can make this fight against Thanos the first effing time really easy. No, but you're going to give these kids these powers?
But there was all kind of stuff that we know about that didn't make sense when it came to fighting Thanos.
But still, to give the kids the power of Thor.
Like,
that's not ridiculous.
Again, I will go back to the point of the Avengers were looking for new recruits, and we're in New York.
Right, give them all the kids from Thanos.
No. So then, let me go get the teenage Spider-Man who doesn't know how to control his powers and really doesn't do much. Let's not worry about Xavier and his X-Men. We're not going to go ask them for help.
Oh, we're not there with it. That's a studio thing.
No, it's still. And then there's Eternals that were there the whole time who decided to not interfere with this, but they've interfered with other things.
I 100% hated Eternals. To me, that is the worst movie that Marvel has ever put out.
Nah.
That's me.
Nah.
Having said that, though, at least their reason for not being involved made more sense to me than freaking Thor not granting everyone the power of him.
But it didn't make sense because they've got involved before with other things.
Not to that extent. I kind of bought that. But like I said, I think that entire, except for the cinematography in that movie, which is beautiful.
My problem with Ray not liking Eternals is that he kept yelling. He's been yelling for the past 2 years that he wants something else from Marvel. And he's praising DC because they go out on a limb and make the Joker. But as soon as Marvel puts out something completely different than all of their other movies, he's like, "Oh, it was
just
bad."
Because it's different doesn't make it good.
But no, that's my line.
Yeah,
to you about DC. But you've been telling me that these DC movies are good because they're different.
I said I like these movies, and I do.
I think you say that now after we've had like 15 years of conversation.
15 years,
or however long you were last on. But I will grant you, I just like the argument sometimes. I love doing the DC thing. It's not that I don't see the flaws.
Detective Comics.
Sometimes I just want to poke the bear. Ask Jason. Jason hates it when I do that. I'll disagree with him for the sake of disagreeing, even though I've agreed
just to irritate him.
Even though like 30 minutes into the conversation, I'll be going and be like, wait a minute. you just effing with me? And I'm like, yeah. From
And
like,
you can see him getting all worked up. It's
yeah,
so
it gets
funny.
red. Like, I would do that. And you get the same way when I defend DC Comics. It's not that I like all of them. Hard time liking Shazam, the second one.
Shazam.
We ain't watched it yet.
Well, okay. Well, if you like this,
Terrence.
I don't think I can talk to you anymore.
Now, Terrence, shout out. He said he tried to watch it and he fell asleep on it. And the last thing we fell asleep on was Wonder Woman 84.
When my kids have a hard time watching them superhero, that's when you know probably not. I mean, it was it was okay.
Now the Flash looks dope.
I hope it is.
People say I hate DC, but this movie looks dope.
Michael Keaton.
From everything that I've seen, it looks dope.
I hope you're right. You know what? We'll know next week, won't we?
Yep.
We'll know next. Is it next week or
16th.
is it the week after?
Oh, it's the weekend now.
Yeah.
Got to wait. You got to wait.
But I will absolutely. I got to go see this week. I'm going to go see Into the Spider-Verse, which you've already seen.
Already seen.
So no spoilers.
So what happened was
What happened?
Spider-Man. Okay, no.
What?
That was wrong. Wrong, man.
Oh.
I lost a year with Jason because he spoiled freaking movie. The first Guardians. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. He spoiled the first Guardians for me.
Did he?
He told me the entire ending of the movie, thinking that I wouldn't believe it because it was so wild.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got to it, I called him up. I was like, "Don't talk to me. I'm pissed off at you." Like, I was even talking to his wife. But I wouldn't talk to him. I was pissed. I was like, dude, don't, like, I can't stand spoilers of movies. Even if I know how they end. It's not like going into Titanic. I don't know how that's going to end, but I don't want anyone to spoil for me whatever's
Yeah.
in
between
in there. Yeah. And he did exactly that on the first Guardians. I was mad, and I still use it to today. Like, that's why we always talk and say, "Hey, Jason, shut up, don't spoil it."
Yeah.
Because Jason sometimes either does it and doesn't realize he's doing it, or he's being a prick.
Yeah. I mean, he should just go online and have a ball. There's so many people that spoil movies now on the internet. Just go post and troll on the internet. So Guardians.
Love you, Jason.
Shout out. So what did you give your make believe score? Because we didn't actually score it.
No, but I was thinking. I'll be honest. I was thinking between 8.0 to 8.5 because even though it was sad, there was a lot of really good things too, like the cinematography and the music, and I like the acting, so I just, I didn't really like the story.
I did not like the acting. I feel like,
I
feel like a bunch of the characters kind of phoned it in.
I don't like Drax's acting, but I like Drax, but I don't think that Batista is that great of an actor.
Well, okay, just compared to how he was in the other films, it was like Drax on level 10 in the other films, and this was like a 7.5 or 8 on whatever. I just feel like there was a lot of flat lines. It was monotone. There wasn't a lot of emotion with the jokes, and it was just kind of a weird energy.
I think you feel that with Gamora the most because Gunn didn't know. And they said that his first 2 scripts. Because he's been wanting to kill her since the second. Now
I get, but her I get though, because it's really if we're comparing how she was because she's a different person.
Yeah, of course.
But these other characters are essentially the same. So why their level of acting or enthusiasm or whatever energy, whatever you want to call it, it was just kind of lacking in this movie. So I know we kind of already answered it, but maybe this needs to be a reoccurring kind of theme on here. What I've been asking her now that everyone understands my blockbuster mentality, would you recommend this to the average Joe in the street?
Who hasn't seen the trilogy?
No.
Probably not. I think my recommendation would be you need to see all of it to get this one, and don't yourself.
And I would hire you at Blockbuster. What about you?
Yeah, I said the same thing earlier. Like, I would not just recommend some random person to go see this particular movie.
So my expert opinion, I would not recommend this to the average person on the street. And I would actually be a little bit hesitant to recommend it to someone who's seen the first 2. I would say watch it just to finish it off.
Right.
But if you enjoyed the first 2 and how they were, and you specifically enjoy them because of how they were, this is completely different. Be ready. This is completely different than what you've seen. So if you're expecting, because most people do, if you're expecting to see volume 1, volume 2, but volume 3, that's not what you're going to get.
Well, I think that's the caveat, right? someone's asking me who's seen the first two, hey man, do you want to see it? Yeah, I loved it, but it is different. It's heavier than the first two. That's how I would explain it. So, like they wanted to press on, like, what do you mean by heavier? Well, it's more of an emotional drag than the first two.
Yeah. Because someone asked us recently.
Yeah, Diane, shout out.
Diane, shout out.
And we told her, we didn't spoil anything, but we told her that
she basically said, like, I don't want to see anything sad.
I wouldn't recommend.
And we were like,
she was like, well, I can deal with a little sad. And I was like, she was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to see the movie. And we were like,
not without balling.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this might not be the movie for you then.
There's a reason I've only seen, oh my gosh, what was the Holocaust?
Schindler's List.
There's a reason I've only seen that movie once.
Yeah. And it was hard enough to get through it once.
And that's a 9.9 movie, mind you. 9.9 for me.
Yeah.
But I have no desire to ever see that movie again.
No, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was so hard to get through. What was I gonna say though? Dang it.
What? Huh?
We were talking about random people recommending.
Yeah, would you recommend this to random people?
I don't know.
No, you don't remember?
I can't remember, but oh no, I know. When we went to go see Spider-Man,
yeah,
I had not noticed this before, but they have a huge poster.
You remember that part in Spider-Man?
No, they have this huge poster up at the movie theater for Guardians, and it says, "What does it say at the bottom?" I was like, "Look," it says like
they finally put a warning.
No, it says something like, "Unlike the first two," or "This one's very different," or it's something they called out like, "This is not like the others."
They said a couple of theaters did put that up there, that they started getting into some of the scenes and saying, please note that if you it trigger warnings is basically what they put on
No, but
there.
this was part of the poster. This was not like a note that the theater put up.
It was part of the advertisement?
It was it was like unlike the others.
Like any other Guardians you've ever seen or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess I didn't
Well, maybe
notice.
we missed that going on. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but again, for me, would I recommend it to the average Joe? No, because it does need it. You do need to do that. You do need to see the others. Whereas if I'm watching something, if I'm talking about the Matrix and someone goes, "Hey, do I need to see the other two before I see the new Matrix movie?" I'd be like, "No, you're fine. In fact, skip the other two and watch 1 and 4." Couldn't do it with this one. Yeah, you really couldn't.
Yep.
Yeah. So there it is. That's our official review. I think this is probably unlike any review that you've ever heard of Guardians.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because
scored high, but a couple people, I'm not watching this again.
Not watching that again. It's not going down.
Whereas, then I will add this to the collection. This will be one of my physical buys. I've started doing, I think, what we've talked about and what you do. Whereas, I'm only buying physical copies now. I know that I. Otherwise, you're getting a digital when you're at the cheapest amount possible. That's when I will buy you.
Yeah. So no spoilers, but I just pre-ordered Across the Spider-Verse on the Steelbook.
I saw that came out. Everyone's starting to post that already. I will watch it this week. I'm gonna take some kiddos. Can't wait to watch it. I thought the first one was fantastic.
Well, y'all remember what I gave the first one?
I don't remember.
You have a 10, right? Yeah.
No.
The Miles Morales one, the first one.
Oh yeah, and it well earned.
Yeah,
well earned. So can't wait to watch it.
All right, so y'all ready to wrap?
Yes.
Oh, you got your paper? Fourth wall.
Would you stop?
Fourth wall.
See it in the screen. Just kidding.
I feel like there's something else that's supposed to be happening here before you
wrap it up.
Before you wrap, I don't know.
Are you singing it, or are you talking about wrapping it up like a Christmas present?
Hey.
All right, I'm about to wrap it up.
There we go.
That's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening to ANX Gamecast. If you enjoy the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new episodes. See you next week.
Hold on. Is a sign for being kidnapped still this? Do I need to have help?
Yes. It's time to duel.